because I know, I'm sure you've got plans. If you don't, I can go on and on. Okay, very quickly, my name is Iftikhar Uddin. You can call me Ifti. You've heard my testimony, but just let me tell you very briefly one part of that, which some of you may know, some of you may not know. I started a letting agency, started from home with just a desk and a phone, not even a computer. And from there, with a lot of hard work and a lot of support, I managed to grow it into one of the biggest letting agencies in Hounslow. At one point, we had over 200 properties, 12 staff, and we were doing very, very well. A lot of challenges came along the way. A lot of letdowns from the staff, a lot of letdown from having to invest big time into the business and also into different properties as well. And it was a gamble and a risk. At the end of the day, it was worth it, but I wanted a lot less stress in my life. If you can appreciate that, as you get older, you want a bit more peace. You want you want things a bit more calm. And since the journey of ACN, I've decided to take it in a slightly different way to many of the people joining have taken it. I've decided to take ACN as something I'd like to enjoy. You know, sometimes you can put a lot of pressure upon yourself. I've got to hit the next position, I've got to earn this much, I'm at that stage of life, I just decided I want to enjoy life as well. Wow. And what I'm going to talk about now is the new direction. Now, Shamin Bhai was talking about going left and right, wasn't he, in the postcode?
Yes.
Yeah? ACN is changing direction. It's still going to be called ACN, don't worry. But what's happening is something very, very special. The co-founders of the company, they made a very bold statement. They said, we want ACN to be the biggest direct seller in the world. We're not there yet, so we'll have lots of applause when we get there. Now, just to put it in context, of the top 100 companies selling directly, multi-level marketing, direct selling, whatever you want to call it, ACN is number 22. Last year's revenues were $872 million. That's according to the DSA, the institute which governs all of the direct selling companies. The biggest company in the world, anybody want to guess what they're called? Amway, yeah? Anybody want to guess what their revenues are? Billions?
Yes.
Just take a guess, wild guess. 2 billion?
60 billion.
3 billion? 60? Whoa, hang on a minute.
10 billion.
10.8 billion dollars. So they're more than 10 times bigger than ACN. Now think about that for one moment. The co-founders are saying, we're going to become the biggest. That means ACN have to grow more than 10 times bigger than they are now, and the other companies in front of them stand still. That's not going to happen, is it? They're going to grow as well. So how much faster and bigger do ACN have to get?
A lot.
A lot. So they're going to do three things. Number one, they're going to go into a lot more markets. They've already said it openly, publicly. Different numbers are bandied around. 50 different countries and markets coming in the next few years. We know they're working in Central America, South America to open it up. Mexico has been opened up. So there's several countries there. They're working on Japan, India, China, and many others as well. Imagine when they open up India, what's that going to be like? Yeah? That's going to be fantastic, isn't it? So look, one is the big, more markets. Second direction will be, they're going to be launching a lot more products. So they've launched Benavita, top of the range, premium meal replacements. They've launched Illuminate, top of the range. Now look, I'm going to let you into a little secret. These God-given looks that I have, oh, don't laugh, it's true. There's a secret behind it. No, Benavitas, no, I go to the gym, so I don't need that. Look, I've been using the face cream. You can probably tell, can't you? Yeah? I was more beautiful than I was last week when I was up here, wasn't I? My wife thinks so, anyway. Look, so Illuminate, Peter Lamas, top guy. They're going to be launching a lot more services and products as well. That's the second part of the new direction. Wow. The third part is to motivate all of us by putting more money in our pockets. Wow. Now, you may remember, Bilal was giving the slide. Do you remember where it said from 1% to 10%? Yeah? Personal commissions, residuals. That's going to be now 20%. Wow. Do you remember the other slide? 0.25% down to 7%. Yeah? It's going to start not at 0.25%, but 5%. Wow. So imagine how much more money is going to be in your pockets. Not 0.25%, 5%. Not 1%, but 20%. But it will only be for those people that acquire more and more customers and build a team. Yes? Now look, for ACN to become the biggest company in the world and overtake everybody, lots of changes are going to have to happen. But one of those changes will be for them to build a multi-billion-dollar company. There's going to be lots of multi-millionaires in ACN. Wow. Lots. At the moment, there's a handful. There's about 15, 20, 25 multi-millionaires in ACN now. That number will increase and get bigger and bigger and bigger. Look, what's the biggest crowd you've been in? 25,000?
35,000.
35,000? What's the biggest crowd you've been in a stadium?
100,000.
100,000. Any more advances on that? 100,000. Like an auction, isn't it? Okay, let's take 100,000. Imagine being in a stadium of 100,000 people. Just imagine. You've seen it on the TV. Wembley, Nou Camp, Emirates, best stadium in the world. Imagine being in a stadium full of people. Now imagine that is your team.
Wow.
Imagine that's your team. Only you, one person, has 100,000 people in his team. That is what the co-founders are saying will happen to many people. Look, let me leave you with one thought. Greg Provenzano told me when he gave me personal training. Okay, right, there were 25,000 other people in the room. But what he said is this. He said, when ACN was set up, there were many people who were with them in the beginning. You can imagine. Whenever you set up a business, there's a handful of people with you at the beginning. And they were with the co-founders. Now, fast forward 22 years. ACN was in one state with one service. Now, fast forward. Now they're in partnership with over 200 blue chip companies, 24 countries. They're in every state in America. And they're expanding, and now they're nearly $1 billion. How do you think the people who joined ACN at the very beginning and stayed the whole journey, how do you think they feel?
Amazing.
Rich. Amazing. Is there a better feeling than that? When you don't have to get up and go to work. when you're free, when you can help other people, when you can set up a foundation, when you can give back to whoever you want, when you can do whatever you want in life and make your life meaningful. Then he said one other thing. Imagine those people who were there in the beginning with ACN. But along the journey, they came across some challenges. So-and-so doesn't show up to a meeting. So-and-so let me down. My brother doesn't give me my services. My friend let me down. Somebody started negativity. Some challenges, yes? And they quit. Now imagine how that person feels not having shared the journey of 22 years, 24 countries, $870 million. How do you think that person feels? Don't go there. It's depressing.
Terrible.
Terrible, isn't it? So look, I was listening to some leadership training just earlier on by one of the people who were there at the very beginning. His name's Larry Raskin. And he said, look, there's no great secret about ACN. In fact, this gentleman, Larry Raskin, his title is Leadership Development. He's responsible for developing leaders across all of ACN. And he said, look, there's no magic wand. There's no secret. But if you can boil it down to one thing, only one thing, it's really simple. And that's don't quit. If you can just stay in the game, in spite of the challenges, in spite of the headache, in spite of the heartache, it really hurts in your heart when you get let down by someone who's really close to you, someone you thought, someone you grew up with, somebody who's so close to you, and they not only let you down, but they start spreading negativity about you as well. Really hurts. So in this business, you've got to have a big heart. And the new direction of going into new markets, giving more money into our pockets, and having more products and services will help us to become more successful. And then when we become successful and we can drive by our friend who let us down in that nice Ferrari that Johan was talking about, what feeling would that be like?
Oh, great.
Yeah?
That's good.
Okay, now I'm going to leave you with just one final thing. Who would really like to be successful in ACN? From your heart? Yeah? Really, really? Okay. Book as many events as you can. The bigger, the better. So we've got the UK National coming up. Yeah? We've got Rome coming up. And if you're adventurous, there's California as well around the corner as well. So whoever's serious about this business, do whatever you can to get as many of your team to the biggest events as possible. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.